this is about the organization of the bone. That axial skeletal form the upright axis of the body and appendicular skeletal form the appendages and girdles that attach them to the axial skeleton. And out of these 206, some of us are short and some are the long bones. So they have the different shapes. The size and the shapes are depend upon their functions. Then the type of the bone. Student join fast for the second session of ortho. So next topic is the types of the bones. In that, when we see the long bones, these serve as the levers for the muscle action. That is, for example, femur and the tibia, etc. So femur and the tibia are act as a lever for the muscle action. So these are the long bones. Then short bones. Short bones are generally cube-shaped and are found in the areas where limited movement are required, and their primary role is to provide the strength. So, short bones are generally cube-shaped and found in the areas where limited movement are required, and their primary role is to provide the strength. So, the short bones are provide the strength to the body. Then the flat bones. Flat bone consists of the parallel layers of compact bone which are separated by a thin layer of calcaneus bone tissue, for example, scapula and the skull. So, scapula and the skull is an example of the flat bone which consists of the parallel range of compact bone which are separated by a thin layer of calcaneus bone tissue. Then irregular bones have a peculiar and irregular shape and are unique in their appearance and the functions. That is the pelvic bone. So some bones are irregular in shape. So these are called as the irregular bones and have a peculiar and irregular shape and unique in their appearance like a pelvic bone. Then sesamoid bone. Sesamoid bone, these are the small, rounded or triangular bones which develop within the substance of a tendon or the fascia, and their name is derived from their resemblance, that is to sesame seed. Example, patella, that is the largest and the most definitive of the sesamoid bone. So, patella is the most definitive and the largest sesamoid bone, which is small, rounded, and triangular bone and which develop in the substances of the tendon or the fascia. So, it is a sesame seed like a bone. So these are the many types of the bone. That is long bone, like femur, tibia, short bone, that is cube shaped bone, flat bone, that is scapula, skull, irregular bone like pelvic bone, sesamoid bone like the patella. So this is a diagrammatic presentation of the types of the bone. In that first one is a flat bone. So this is the flat bone, that is the pelvic bone. Then irregular bone. So this is the irregular bone type. Then third one is the long bone. So this long bone shows the metaphysis. Then this one is the diaphysis. This is again metaphysis, and this end is the epiphysis. So what was we learned in the previous slides that epiphysis, metaphysis and diaphysis is seen in this long bone. So this is the type of the bone. That is, first one is the flat bone, this one is the irregular bone, and this is the long bone. Shows how there is the epiphysis, metaphysis, and diaphysis is seen in here in the long bone. Then foot is an assembly of the short bone of a various size. So there is an example of the short bone, that is the foot. First one is the tarsals, then the metatarsals and the phalanges. So this is shows the example of the sesamoid bone. So in the foot we can study about the various bones of the foot, that is tarsal, metatarsal, phalanges. These are the example of the short bones along with the sesamoid bone. Then in the types of the bone, the most important points to remember clinically and uh, educationally is that first one is the long bone, short bone, flat bone, irregular bone, and the sesamoid bone. So, above bones are arranged in a two group, that is axial 80 bones and appendicular, which contain 126 bones. So this is the point to remember in the types of the bones, that is long, short, flat, irregular and the small bone. 80 axial bone and 126 is the appendicular. So the bones in the axial skeleton. Firstly, there is the skull. Skull contains 8 bones of the cranium and the 14 bones of the face. Then the vertebral column. In that, cervical vertebrae contain a 7 bone, thoracic vertebrae contain 12 bone, and lumbar that contain a 5 bone, and sacrum, which contain one bone, that five fuse bone, in which five bones are fused and to form a sacrum, that is one bone, and coccyx, that is one. When there is a three to five fused bones is formed, there is a formation of the coccyx, that is a one bone. Then the sternum, this is also one. Then the ribs of 12 pairs, that is 12 into 2 is 24. And hyoid is one bone. Then ear ossicles, that is malleus, incus 2 and stapes are 2. So total 80 bones are present in the axial skin. Then bones of the appendicular skeleton. In that we can see there is a shoulder girdle, that clavicle which right and left, then scapula right and left, upper extremities in that humerus, ulna, radius contain two bones equally, that is right and left. Then carpal 60, that is 8 plus 8 into the 60. Metacarpals, that is 10, 5 into 5 plus 5 is equal to 10. Then phalanges are 28 and hip girdles, that is os coxa is 2. And in the lower extremity, femur, fibula, tibia, patella is all are contain two bones. That is from right and left side. And tarsals 14. So these are appendicular bone that contain total 126 of the bone. That is 28 phalanges, 10 metatarsals, 14 tarsals, 2 patella, 2 tibia, 2 fibula, 2 femur in the lower extremities, 2 os coxa, that is in hip girdle, 28 phalanges, 10 metacarpals, 16 carpals, 2 radius, 2 ulna, 2 humerus, that is in upper extremities, 2 scapula, and 2 clavicle in the shoulder girdle. So these are the bones of the appendicular skeleton. So this is about the organization of the bone, that is axial and appendicular skeleton. In that, we firstly study about that this one is a frontal bone, this is a frontal bone, then this one is a parietal bone, and behind that this is a temporal bone, this is a sphenoidal notch, this one is a spinomaxillary notch, this is zygomatic bone, then this one is a maxillary frontal process, this is mandible, this is seven cervical vertebrae, this is a coronal suture. This one is temporal bone. This is supraorbital foramen. This one is a internasal suture, that's in the center of the nose nasal suture, internasal suture. Below that there is a nasal bone. Then this one is a sphenoid bone. This is a zygomatic bone. This one is the infraorbital foramen. This one is a maxilla. This is a maxilla. This is a mental foramen of the mandible, as this is mandible. Okay. So student, uh, we can stop here now. So in the next lecture, we will study about the different types of the bones and the next topic of the orthopedics.